Here's a song from the 1920s. It's a lot of fun to play on acoustic guitar. I'm going to play this in the key of C. Clapton played it in this key, but it's often played in G, and of course if you have a capo or you transpose it, you play it where you like, but I'm going to be in C. And effectively the song is just 8 bars that repeats 4 times, and on the 4th time through there's a different ending. And if we can get the first 4 bars under our fingers, we'll have broken the back of it. We've got, in the first 2 bars, we've got C for 2, E7 for 2, and A7. Once I led the life of a millionaire. Okay. And then we've got 2 beats of D minor, 2 of A7, and then 1 each of D minor and A7, back to D minor for 2. Spending my money, I didn't care. So the whole of the first 4 bars. Once I lived the life of a millionaire. Spending my money, I didn't care. Now we've got F for 2, and I'm playing F this way. It's a E-type bar chord on the 1st fret. Carrying my friends, taking us to F sharp diminished. There's a few ways of playing this too, but I'm going to keep my bar where it was for the F chord, and I'm going to bring my 2nd finger down to the bottom string on the 2nd fret, my 3rd finger's on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and ideally I want to avoid the 5th and top strings, so I'm actually going to pick that. I might end up picking the whole thing, so it won't be such a deal. Carrying my friends out, and then it's C for 2, A7 for 2. Every night, D7 for a bar and a half. Buying bootleg liquor, champagne, and G7 for 2. Wine. So the whole of the first verse is: once I lived the life of a millionaire. Spending my money, I didn't care. Carrying my friends out every night. Buying bootleg liquor, champagne and wine. Then I began to fall so low. And we start the 2nd verse. Now there are a few things, very simple things that we can do to create a bit more of a personalised or customised feel for this song. Not least of all this E7 that we've got. A couple of ideas around that. First of all, here's the C chord, and if we move this up until the 1st finger's on the 5th fret, add the little finger on the 7th fret of the 3rd string, I've got E7 this way. Once I led the life, which means that you could then go to A7 here as an E7 shaped bar on the 5th fret. Alternatively, with this shape, if I leave out the bottom string, I'm going to play, the bottom note is going to be B, 2nd fret of the 5th string, and that B sits directly between the C and the A, so I could play this. Once I lived the life of a millionaire. It's a nice smooth step down. We'll see another one of these in the other direction in a moment. Now here we go. F sharp diminished to C. F sharp to C is a real jump. The chord after C is an A, like that. So we could play a note under the C chord that leads us from the F sharp to the A. That note would be a G, so here's my C chord. If I take the 3rd finger, move it down to the 3rd fret of the bottom string, C over G. So now I'm going to have this. Carrying my friends out every night. Much smoother. And the D7. Now the D7, I could do the same thing I was thinking of for the E7, move the C shape up 2 frets. Here it is, it's a D7 now, little fingers on the 5th fret of the 3rd string. Bootleg liquor, champagne and wine. Okay. In terms of picking, you could do something like this. What I'm doing here, take the example of a C chord. It's a Travis pattern really. I've got my thumb on the 5th string and my 2nd finger's on the 2nd string. Then I'm going to move my thumb up to the 4th string and play the 3rd string with the 1st finger. That's a typical Travis style pattern. I can keep that going. And the thumb is going to be on whatever the bass note should be. All on the 5th string there. For the D minor, I've got to move everything up to the 4th string. The second bar of that D minor A7 stuff, I haven't got time to play the whole pattern. So I'll do something like that. Okay, on the D7, because you've got a bar and a half, ooh, alternating bass, that kind of thing. Okay, so wherever you've got time to do that, which is only really where you've got a whole bar of stuff, you could alternate the bass. So, carrying my friends out every night, buying bootleg liquor, champagne and wine. And while we're at it, let me just give you another slightly more jazz shape for G7. Here's first finger on the 3rd fret of the bottom string, second finger on the 3rd fret of the 4th string, 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string, and then I'm going to put my little finger on the 4th fret of the 2nd string to make G7 augmented, or G7 sharp 5. G7 flat 13 is the same thing. Bootleg liquor, champagne and wine. It just gives it a bit more of a jazz feel, I guess. Okay, second verse is exactly the same. And I began to feel so low. Okay, here's alternating bass because we've got a bar of A7. That's going to be 5th string to 6th string. Didn't have a friend, no place to go. If I ever get my hands on $1 again, I'm gonna hold on to it till the eagle grins. Nobody knows you when you're down and out. In my pocket, not one penny. And my friends, I ain't got any. And then we get to the final verse. But if I ever get on my feet again, then I'll meet all my long lost friends. It's mighty strange without a doubt. Then we get a bar of D7. Nobody knows you, G7, when you're down and it's C for 2, A7 for 2, D7 for 2, G7 for 2, C. I mean, when you're down and out. So the last little bit from the F. It's mighty strange without a doubt. Nobody knows you when you're down and out. I mean, when you're down and out. There's lots of scope in places, particularly let's say when we get to the D7, to do quick walk-ups, or it's almost a run-up, isn't it? Let's go from the F in any of the first verses. What do we do at ever get my hands on $1 again, I'm gonna, that kind of thing. Hold on to it till the eagle grins. Likewise, at the very end, nobody knows you when you're down and out. I mean, I'm running from the C down to the A7. When you're down and out. There's lots of scope for that kind of stuff. Okay, let's have the 4th verse through, so that's going to include the ending. And I'm going to give you this for the ending. Which isn't original to the song, but it's a kind of a bluesy thing that works nicely. I'll tab it out, but we've got an octave C, E and B flat, playing in triplets, 4th string, 3rd string, 4th string, and again F to A, F sharp to A flat to G, and then C sharp 7 sliding down to C7. But if I ever get on my feet again, then I'll meet all my long lost friends. It's mighty strange without a doubt. Nobody knows you when you're down and out. I mean that, when you're down and out.